Hey, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the brand new 2020 animated feature film Scoob! Exclamation point. This is a reboot of the Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Inc. crew, various TV series that it was, various films that it's been. Matt Lillard is iconic as Shaggy Rogers, Norville Shaggy Rogers, if you will. First seen, way back in the early 2000s as Shaggy himself alongside Scooby-Doo, live action wise. And then he's been the voice of Shaggy ever since for 20-something years, right? So it was weird when they announced that Will Forte was going to be Shaggy. And I was like, why? Like, Matt himself is very upset about it. He wishes nothing but the best for the Scoob movie. This is a really great movie, but it was just weird not having Matt as Shaggy, if that makes sense. Also, the voice of Daphne, I forget her name, but she's been the voice of Daphne for, again, 20-something years. And it's just weird not having the voices for these particular characters. So you had Zac Efron as Fred, you had Will Forte as Shaggy, you had Amanda Seyfried as Daphne, and you had Gina Rodriguez as Velma. I thought everyone did a great job voice-wise. It was set in modern times. Everyone had smartphones. You had modern music playing, which I thought was interesting. The movie starts on Venice Beach with a young Shaggy and Scooby meeting each other, and then it ends on Venice Beach, California, with Mystery Inc. crew opening up a Mystery Inc. headquarters, basically. I thought that was neat. So, what was also... This is an hour-and-a-half movie, right? This was a pure staple point of introducing Hanna-Barbera characters. Hanna-Barbera and Disney were the only two animated studios that made cartoons way back in the day. You had Disney's cartoons and you had Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And then Warner Brothers eventually came about and had their cartoons as well. Hanna-Barbera morphed into Warner Brothers, and then all of those kinds of cartoons were always shown on Cartoon Network. So you always had the Disney cartoons, and then you had the Cartoon Network cartoons, which incorporated the Warner Brothers, like Looney Tunes, Tiny Toons, and then all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons as well. So like Jetsons, Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, those are the top three that everybody knows the most. Then you have Megilla Gorilla, you have Dynomutt, the Wonder Dog, you have Captain Caveman, and I forget the team that's with him. But some of these characters are actually in this movie. So I'm going to name off a few names and things, and then we're going to discuss how it all integrated into this hour-and-a-half movie. You have Alexander the Great. You have Peritas, Alexander's dog. Parthenon in Athens, Greece. You had the Doors of Death. Okay. Housemaid of Hades, basically. But on a Hanna-Barbera front, you have Blue Falcon, Dynomutt, the Dog Wonder, Captain Caveman, you have Dee Dee Sykes, you have Dick Dastardly of Muttley as well. Dick Dastardly and Muttley, they were always like partners in crime. Dee Dee Sykes was a part of a girl spy group who worked with Captain Caveman. Dynomutt, the Dog Wonder, always worked with Blue Falcon. So you have all of these perfectly placed Hanna-Barbera characters into this Scooby-Doo story, which involves Alexander the Great and Peritas as his dog. So Dick Dastardly is trying to open the doors of death flat out because Muttley is stuck in Hades because they found a back way to get into Hades to get some treasure, and Muttley got lost there. So he's trying to open the doors of death, and the only way to do that is to get the last descendant of Peritas, who is Alexander the Great's best friend, best dog, which is an actual fact of history, in order to get the paw print of the last descendant, Scooby-Doo, to open the doors of death in Athens, Greece. So there's shenanigans in Venice Beach. There's fight scenes in Funland Amusement Park, which is in Romania, something like that, which is deserted and very creepy, but very cool. You had, fights in Greece. You had fights in various other places. There's fights within the Blue Falcon's ship. Mark Wahlberg played Blue Falcon, which I thought was hysterical, and Ken Jeong played Dynomutt, which again I thought was hysterical. So you have... It was more of a superhero movie than a mystery movie. Yet the mystery aspect was Velma figuring out that Scooby is the last descendant of Peritas, and that way he and Shaggy were both needed in order to close the gates after the gates were opened in Athens, Greece, and then Cerberus, the three-headed guardian dog, was released into the world to cause chaos. There's a lot of mythology in this. A lot of Greek mythology, accurate Greek mythology, minus the you need the human and the dog to seal the gates. But a lot of research went into making this movie. I thought it was very interesting, especially the fact that it closed, the story closed in Venice, but the main chunk of it was in Athens at the old Parthenon. And once the doors were opened, the doors of death were opened, then everything turned back to what it used to be in its glory days. So it was interesting. There's a lot of history in this hour-and-a-half movie, a lot of action in this hour-and-a-half movie, a lot of music in this hour-and-a-half movie, a lot of bright colors in this hour-and-a-half movie. I loved it. I did. But this was not your typical Scooby-Doo movie. This was a straight-up superhero movie. That was it. The only mystery of it was figuring out how to get Shaggy out of Hades after he was needed to close the doors. One on one side, one on the other. Scooby on one side, Shaggy on the other. But I don't know. I thought it was going to be more on that mystery front, because that's what Scooby-Doo and Mystery Incorporated is all about. You know, like even the 2 live-action films is like mystery, or like Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, or Scooby-Doo and the Hex Girls, or Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invasions. Like, all of those things are like mystery stuff. Like, yeah, there's like twists and turns in action and, you know, combat and stuff, but it was never like superhero stuff. It was more like a mystery movie, you know? But that's the point of Scooby-Doo movies. So it was just interesting seeing a Scooby-Doo movie be a superhero action movie more so than a mystery action movie like we're used to. But this film was supposed to have a wide release. It was canceled because of the COVID-19 outbreak, which hope everyone is safe and well at home. So this was a direct-to-video release, which is very much what Universal did with Trolls World Tour, which is still insane. So I'm curious how much money this movie's going to make, because this movie's going to make a butt ton of money, especially since it's the next family movie to watch while you're stuck at home. You know, you had Trolls, and then you now have Scoob. So if Trolls made $100 million in its first 3 weeks, I'm so excited to see what Scoob does, you know, with its time period. It's a modern film. I thought it was really entertaining. I laughed. I got choked up when Scooby and Shaggy had to say goodbye, but I just wanted a little bit more mystery. If I'm going to critique anything, I just wanted some more mystery. I like the little robot alien baby things who turned into chainsaw scorpions from Dick Dastardly. I thought that was neat. Yes, Dick Dastardly and Muttley get back together and, you know, are imprisoned. But I'm curious to see how they're going to incorporate more Hanna-Barbera characters into, because like Magilla Gorilla was shown in the post credits, you know. I'm curious how more are going to be integrated into a next Scoob movie, or even if they'll have a spin-off of a character they introduced as like Captain Caveman is on an island in the middle of nowhere, right? So maybe they'll do a movie focused on that. But I think Scooby is the most recognizable character out of everyone. So they should just keep popping out the Scooby movies. So we'll see. We'll see what the next Scoob movie is all about. Have you seen the brand new 2020 Scoob movie? Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy the superhero take rather than the mystery take? Do you enjoy the fact that this was straight up about Greek mythology? And no one really knew that. And unless you actually know Greek mythology. I thought that was a fun little twist. That's all I got. Mucho mahalo.